sorry to have run off that way. I never should have. Didn't know the fellow at all. Say, you haven't touched your champagne. You'll let all the kick go out of it.
I'm afraid all the kick has gone out of it.
Well, we'll soon take care of it. Oh, my billfold. Where did you find it?
It was on the floor. The waiter picked it up.
The waiter? Did he look at it?
No.
Well, we found an honest man, eh? Have to remember him.
Hadn't you better look to see if you found an honest woman?
I'll take a chance.
On my honesty, yes. But what about a woman's curiosity?
Oh, I see. Well, now you know. Well, I must be more careful of my things in future. But you know, I'm sure you wouldn't tell anyone anything.
No?
No. I knew from the very first that I could trust you implicitly.
Stop your music. Stop your music. Stop.
Say, what's happened? What's up, Stuart? Why is the music stop? What's the matter here?
Attention, everybody. The first officer has something to say to us.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry to break in on your dancing this way, but I assure you this won't take long. We've just received a radiogram from London, and I must ask your cooperation.
Something important? Maybe it's war with Germany.
No, it isn't war. Nothing nearly as alarming as that. However, the London police suspect that we're carrying a stowaway, and they've asked us to make a thorough search of the ship and report back to them.
Really? Must be a criminal.
A criminal? Oh, no, I don't...
Perhaps it's the blackout killer.
A killer? No more shit.
Now, wait a moment, please, ladies and gentlemen. It won't help to get excited. The ship is being searched. He'll never get off. All we ask is that you keep your cabins locked.
I was afraid this might happen.
How long did you expect to keep it from them?
Naturally, I was hoping they'd never... Judith. Oh, Judith, what's wrong? Where are you going?
Look at him.
What the devil?
Hey, what's the matter, handsome? She run out on you?
Oh, please, let me through, will you?
Okay, sure. Go to it, mister. Don't let her get away. You know, maybe she thinks that you're the blackout killer. I'll never know why I left the dining salon without telling them. Certainly there could no longer be any doubt. It was all too clear. That loose canvas covering on the lifeboat, the way he'd been standing there, even the name he had given me, Alan Bruce. I saw it later on the regular passenger list. He must have killed Bruce and thrown him overboard, taking not only his name, but his stateroom and clothes. It was all so fantastic. Worse than anything else. I had almost fallen in love with him. He knew that, I'm certain. It was why he was so confident that I wouldn't tell anyone. And I didn't. Not even when I spoke to the first officer about my promise to Mrs. Prescott. I wanted to tell him, but somehow
Webster, I'll arrange it for early tomorrow morning. Most of the passengers will be asleep.
Thank you. I suppose it's rather unusual, but then Mrs. Prescott was an unusual woman.
I haven't conducted a burial at sea since the last war. However, I'm not entirely unprepared. The company officials spoke to me about this before sailing, and... Well, now, don't you worry, Miss Webster. The ceremony will be quite in order, I assure you.
Thank you.
I'll bid you good day, ma'am.
I wish you hadn't done that. Oh, I'm sorry. I seem to have a habit of startling you.
What do you want? How long have you been standing there?
Long enough to overhear that conversation.
You had no right. What are you doing in my cabin?
Please, I know what you're going to say. I had no right to be here or to listen. However, it's fortunate that I did.
What do you mean?
I didn't know that it was Mrs. Prescott's desire to be buried at sea.
No one knew it. But it was her last wish. I promised her it would be carried out.
And tomorrow morning you're keeping that promise?
Yes. And now, if you'll excuse me, I don't feel very well. I'd like to...
Wait, please, Judith. You've been avoiding me, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
I hope it's only because you've been upset. About Mrs. Prescott, I mean.
That's one reason.
Oh, I'm sorry. I almost thought we were beginning to become very good friends. You know, you're the only person on board whom I can trust.
You're very sure about that, aren't you?
Of course. You know who I am and what I'm doing on this ship, and yet you've told no one.
I wanted to.
I know. Women were never meant to keep secrets. However, I'm going to ask you to keep one more.
I'd rather not.
Sorry. I must include you this time. You see, it requires a change in your plans so they'll fit in with mine.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
It's very simple. Judith, this may upset you, but I must ask that you tell them that you've changed your mind, that you don't want Mrs. Prescott buried at sea.
What?
You remember what they said. Even if they couldn't find the stowaway, he'd never get off the ship. Well, he could get off very easily if you'd allow him to take Mrs. Prescott's place in that casket.
What, in that casket?
Yes. Clever, eh?
Clever?
Well, not every man would think of it. Simple as it may seem, everyone searching the ship, questioning each passenger, and all the while the man they were seeking would be safe inside the casket. He would only have to wait patiently, and then be hoisted from the ship's hold, lowered onto the pier, and whisked safely away in a funeral car.
And when he was discovered by the funeral attendants?
Oh, I'm sure they'd be so shocked at the dead coming to life, he'd have little trouble in...
Stop it. Stop it, do you hear? If you haven't any respect for the dead, I'm afraid I have.
Oh, Mrs. Prescott, you mean? I should have told you that part of it. Her last wish has already been carried out. You see, her body was removed from the casket the night we sailed. Mrs. Prescott is already buried at sea.
You've thought of everything, haven't you?
Yes. In my position, one must.
I remained in my cabin all that day and next. I was afraid to see him again. I can't explain the strange fascination he held over me. I remember how surprised the first officer looked when I told him I had changed my mind about the burial. It was as if he sensed the truth, as if he knew Mrs. Prescott's body wasn't in the casket, that it was empty. But of course it was only my imagination and my sense of guilt for this terrible wrong I was doing. When we sailed into New York Harbor, I went out on deck. He was standing there near the port rail. I went up to him. He turned and smiled as if he'd been expecting me.
Oh, there you are. I've missed you. Haven't been under the weather?
No, I've been perfectly well.
You had me worried, not showing up at dinner. You know, I've come to depend on you.
Yes, I know.
I've decided not to let you get away from me. After this is all over, we must,
You haven't much time.
Oh, that's right. This may not be easy. Wish me luck?
Haven't I done more than that already?
Yes, of course. Only, like this, Judith.
As suddenly as he had taken me in his arms, he released me, and I remained there by the rail as he hurried away. I watched as the ship moved on into the harbor under the guidance of the tugboats with their shrill, insistent little whistles. I listened to the shouts of the crew and longshoremen. Soon we were alongside the pier. And the steward was shouting from the head of the gangway, and then I saw it. The casket.